wanted to talk about the entertainment industry in depth, and I want to talk about the truth. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors that go on in this field, and I just want to talk to people that are in the same industry that can shed some light on certain topics that maybe will resonate with you. This is singer-songwriter Samantha Sharp. Hello. Well, the floor is you. So tell us a little bit about, what you do, the field, and just, how things have affected you at the moment.
Right, yeah. So as you said, I'm singer-songwriter. Started off just singing. Took a really long break from it, actually, before I met Steph. It ended up being kind of fated, I guess, that I ended up with her as my teacher, because it got me back into doing what I actually love.
Yeah.
And then, after finishing up lessons with Steph, I've released an EP. I was gigging around quite a bit, and at the moment, with the whole virus situation, I currently am stuck at home, unable to actually get out and play for people. So that's really been quite tough. Especially, artists, we're all really emotional people, and a lot of, music is livelihood. It's uncharted territory for everyone. So there's no real right or wrong way to deal with any of it. If people are writing music, that's great. If they're not, that's fine too, because we all feel different.
What's the process been like for you?
I've been finding that I can get into practice quite easily. There's not much else to sort of do, but emotionally, I don't feel 100% comfortable with writing new things at the moment and actually putting them out there. I know I want to have something ready for when this is all over, but it's just about whether or not it's going to be the right thing.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
Well, I guess because we don't actually know what life looks like on the other side. Like, is the industry going to be the same? Because Sam Smith is on his couch as well at the moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're kind of in the same ballpark at the moment. All artists are having the same struggle basically. We don't know when it's gonna end. We don't know whether things are gonna get back to normal. I saw someone say that without a vaccine, it could be another year before they actually allow live shows like concerts and festivals again.
Yeah, well, the music industry is really, really interesting because, look, through any crisis, music has always gone through. What do you think this is going to actually look like moving forward? I mean, is this going to be like it was before, or do you see the music industry changing? And do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing?
I know, as you said, like, music perseveres. Music is what people cling to. A lot of music through, wartime, stuff like that.
Yes.
That really resonated with people. It gave them hope. And I think that with the saturation of the market at the moment as well, because so many people are online looking for something to do, and putting music out there as well, it could definitely change, the climate for labels, for all of that stuff, whether or not they're going to put out stuff more often or less often, or what's going to happen. It's just all over the place.
What was the music industry like beforehand?
Look, for me, the pro has always been about artistic expression and that people can actually do what they want to do with their own thing. I hear a lot that if they were with a label, that kind of thing, it wouldn't be the case. But with a lot of, we've moved to such a digital age that people can distribute independently. That's what I did.
Yeah.
I got all my tracks done, did all of that on my own time, put it up, and I've, had no one have to tell me what to do, basically. So it's been really good to have that freedom. That does mean that everyone has that freedom. So there are about, I think there were hundreds of thousands of songs put up every single day on Spotify. So it is really quite full up at the moment with everyone gets a chance, which is wonderful. We can all be heard.
Yeah.
But again, that does make it quite noisy. I hope that things won't change too much, but there are some things that do need to change.
Yeah. What are some of those things that you've experienced personally?
I mean, the low sort of pay rates for these streaming things are pretty abysmal.
Yeah.
It's been like 4 or 5 months since I released an EP, and in that time, in CD sales, I've made quite a bit of money. But in streaming, I think I've made $6.
Whoa, that's it.
Yep.
Can I ask you, with what obviously, so I'm guessing you've been dreaming about being a musician since you were really little, right? Yeah. So what it's like to actually be a musician, like what's the expectation that you're fed with as a child, and what do you get?
Right. It's very different from what we're told will be the case, especially if you have been, in any like talent shows, or if you've watched any even. When I was growing up, that was the golden age of American Idol.
Yeah.
And Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah.
Yeah. And from the outside, as a child especially, because I remember I used to perform for my family on my patio because it's got a slightly raised bit. Yeah, so we're told that it's going to be like that all the time, though. That because when you sing for your parents at that age, they're your adoring fans.
Yeah.
And you think that it's going to be all bright lights and big cities and having access to things all the time, having a lot of money as well, which is a very, very common misconception I found about the music industry. I often find myself saying that I didn't get into this for the money, because if I did, I wouldn't be in it.
Yeah.
Because people see it like, oh, musicians, especially those at a high level, they have more money than they know what to do with. That's why they're always dressed so fancy and all that. But the truth is that, especially with the way that royalties are, it's actually not the case until you reach sort of, like Justin Bieber level. It's actually a pretty low paying industry. So
the gap, like between being a real working musician, just kind of doing the live scene, and Justin Bieber, what is the gap, and how far is that gap?
I'd say the gap is, it's almost like they're the 1% in that case, the way that, because I know that I tend to try and price things fairly, because I'm an independent musician, I get to sort of price things myself, and I try and be fair and be reasonable, because I'm not that level. But at the same time, sometimes if I undercut myself because I want to get more work, or to make that business happy or something like that. So the difference can be astronomical. It can be, I'm getting a couple of $100 a week, or, someone at that level could be getting $1 million a week. It's just, it's unfathomable, I would say. It's a really, really big gap.
I feel like ever since this has happened, it's given us all a chance to really clear our head and figure out what we really want in life. Do you think now, coming into this, do you think that now you would never sort of undercut you? Like now you're realizing your value more, or do you feel like it's like, which way is it going for you, and what's your standpoint now, I guess, now and moving forward?
I know that building myself up the way that I did, and playing for less allowed me to actually start gigging earlier.
Yes.
And to build up that skill and that rapport and that ability to play for people so that I could charge more. It gave me the experience. So I wouldn't say that I would never do it if I sort of was to do it all again. I think that it was not the best thing to do, but it was warranted at the time.
You mentioned about building yourself up. Now, can we, I want to sort of elaborate on that, because I feel like you mean not just building yourself up musically, but building yourself up as a person. So
definitely.
Tell me a little bit about that and how much that's really contributed to where you are today as on a personal level.
When I started gigging, I didn't have the most confidence either. Every single time that I would play, I was terrified that someone was going to notice that I wasn't that good. Like, it was this whole imposter syndrome thing. And I saw a quote that was, if you have imposter syndrome, it probably means you're not an imposter, because actual imposters don't think that they're imposters. They think they belong where they are. So I mean, from the first sort of time that I started singing with you, even, I was terrified. I used to shake, and my legs would shake so much I could barely stand up. And that hasn't happened to me for, like 3 years or something now. I've been able to build up this confidence in my own ability and in the fact that people aren't paying that much attention to things like if your legs are shaking. They don't notice. Listening for the heart and the soul of the music. I actually learnt to play guitar because I was going through mental health problems. So I was finding that I needed goals. I needed things that would keep me busy, and I needed to feel like I had achieved something, because at that point in where I was working and what things were happening in my life, I felt like I was really out of control. So being able to set my mind to something actually gave me a lot of myself back. And then just to continue from there, to know that I'm always getting better at it, has really, really helped. And I got to, write music because I was able to play. I can sit and just play the same, chord over and over and over and over again if I want to, if I just need something, like white noise. But it's been really, really good. I think learning to play an instrument. I couldn't play and sing at the same time, and now I, can pick up a song within a couple of minutes. So it's it's definitely been one of the best things I've done to get me through, life.
What other things, I guess, personally did you have to sort of go through as well to feel comfortable within your own self, that you only needed your own validation instead of searching for that as a performer?
Even just having bad shows or having feedback on things that wasn't the best. I've had some absolutely shocking gigs. At the time you feel horrible. I've made a mistake. People are noticing, but afterwards you're like, oh well, I'm a person. It's really easy these days, especially with social media, to see people who are, maybe they're auto-tuned, maybe they've got a million filters on what they're doing, they've done 50 takes to get that perfect one. Playing live is completely different, but also being yourself is completely different. And that's something that I really come to learn, especially through music, that usually the most raw and the most vulnerable artists are the ones that actually get through to you as a person. So I gave up on that. I'm like, I'll just do what I do.
I wanted to go back to a point where you said you was talking about this gig, and you said it was a horrible gig, and you said these very strong words like, oh well, right? And I wanted to talk about the oh well, because what is it that, because I guess to somebody else that maybe has just started or isn't really immune to the fact that you have to be resilient in this field, right? That what gets you to the point of oh well?
You know what, it's really interesting that you said that, because when you said that, I remembered all the times that, when I was first starting out, that it did feel like the end of the world.
Yeah.
Where I would come home from an open mic and I would be like, it went terribly, I'm not talking to anyone.
Yeah, right.
Or someone, my mum would come with me and she'd take a video and I would refuse to look at it. It was like almost an attitude shift, I guess, where I was putting a lot of pressure on each and every performance to be perfect, because that's, as I said, that's what people are shown more often. Social media is a highlight reel. People don't show you their bad stuff. So yeah, I don't know. It was like one day, especially when I was playing more often, and I think busking helped. To have people just listen sort of as they pass by you and not be sitting there focusing, because it feels like you're competing against each other.
Yeah.
And like, we're not competing against each other. It's another thing that I think we're taught young, is that the industry is competitive, therefore you must compete.
Yeah.
And it's not necessary to compete because we're all different.
Well, in all this, seriously, you have worked really hard. What is the attitude that you must have if you want to go down this road?
You've got to work hard, but not expect that your hard work is always going to mean a certain thing, I guess.
Okay.
So I got a lot out of releasing the EP.
Yep.
It wasn't something that I expected, I was going to meet certain people. It wasn't something like that. You have to just sort of do what makes you happy and do what, feels right with the music. Work hard, get it done if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
But you can't expect like, oh, well, a label's going to pick it up, or I'm going to get signed, I'm going to get money. Like, you've got to do it for yourself. You've got to be resilient. It's the oh well, it's interesting that you said, about hard work as well, because I think my mindset as well is that I've always considered myself to not work that hard. And I actually was reminded the other day where my mum pretty much read me a list of things that I've done, because I was like, oh yeah, but because I like what I do, it doesn't always feel like work. And there's always hustle and there's always practice to do or people to contact, networking, all that stuff. But that doesn't mean that it feels like the 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So I've always sort of considered that I don't do that much and I should do more. And I realized that that's not really true. It just doesn't feel like a lot because it's what makes me happy.
You said you have to be able to change with the times.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're in a situation. So what could you suggest? How do you, as somebody in the entertainment field, how do you change with these times? What do you do?
Well, there are a lot of online sort of platforms that I know that people are using at the moment. So I know a lot of people doing live streams.
Mm-hmm.
There are digital sort of festivals going around as well, where a lot of different artists are collaborating, which is amazing. But yeah, you just got to see what's out there, I guess. And yeah, I mean, people are doing like digital tip jars, like using their PayPal accounts and letting people just like pop some coinage in there. Yeah. If you've got, $2, give it to your local artist, because we're running out of money.
Where can we get your name on some mugs instead of McDonald's?
SamanthaSharp.com, actually.
Lovely. Yeah. Apple Music. Where are we going to check that out?
Yes. So I have the EP is called Gilded Cage. It is on Spotify. It is on iTunes. Deezer, YouTube. It's everywhere that I can put it. I was so excited.
And finding more platforms as we go.
Oh yeah, it's going everywhere. And I do physical CDs as well, which are also on the website too.
All the best with everything. I'm sure we'll
you.
chat later down the track and see what more progression you've had as well. So it's all a fabulous journey, not the destination, but definitely the journey.
Definitely. I don't know what the destination is anymore, but
hey, but it's heading somewhere.
It's heading somewhere. What is I'm so big on quotes. There's a quote for that too. It's like, we're going to get rid of the old map. We're going to break out a crisp new one.
Thank you so much, Sam. It's been a massive pleasure, and wish you all the best during this time. Thank you for all your insight and knowledge.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for letting me ramble.
Thank you.